Tradeovate will provide a pop-up notice when you launch the platform, notifying you that you have an instrument that needs to be rolled over. In this module, we will discuss a unique concept to futures called contract rollover. While the concept of futures trading dates back centuries, the formal introduction of rollover mechanisms is a more recent addition. We're going to go over what it is, why it exists, when it occurs, and how it affects you as a trader. What is contract rollover? At its simplest, contract rollover is the process where traders transition their trading positions from the current futures contract to one with a later expiration date. In financial products like NASDAQ and S&P futures, NQ and ES, this happens 4 times per year in March, June, September, and December. Whereas crude oil futures, symbol CL, has a monthly rollover. Commodities products have a more frequent rollover than financials products, as there is a need for more frequent physical delivery of those products. So commodities like corn rolls over 5 times per year. Why rollover exists? While the exact timing for the creation and implementation of contract rollover is not known, the advent of electronic trading and centralized exchanges requiring more formalized and standardized processing thus created the need. To help facilitate both the need for regularly timed physical goods expirations mixed with the need for increased market integrity, futures contracts now have an expiration. Not the same as options expirations and dealing with the time decay affecting the value of your contract. This is much simpler and straightforward process, as the fixed expiration dates create a systematic transition between contracts with no decaying time penalties for the older or newer contracts. You might be thinking this seems kind of weird. What does this mean for the average trader? How does this really apply to me? For most day traders, this means rollover is the time where we simply need to make sure we shift our trades to the new current contract with the next expiration date. For instance, if a trader held a December crude oil futures contract as it approaches expiration in November, they might roll over their positions to the next available contract, such as the January contract. This avoids the requirement of physical delivery of the asset and allows the trader to continue trading the asset's price movements. Since contract rollover involves traders shifting their positions from an expiring futures contract to a new contract with a later expiration date, this means that a few times a year you need to ensure you are trading the current new contract. In the case of, say, ES and NQ futures, you will participate in rollover 4 times per year. For example, in December, when that contract expires, roughly mid-December, you will roll from the December contract to the new March contract. Now, physical delivery. The primary purpose of rollover is to avoid the necessity of physical delivery. Most futures traders are interested in price movements rather than owning the actual commodity itself or financial instrument. Rollover ensures that traders can continue their positions without dealing with the logistics and costs associated with taking delivery of the underlying asset. However, a participant who is, say, a farmer may see and treat contract rollover differently. This is a time when they are going to deliver, for example, their corn harvest because they are interested in the physical delivery aspect of contract expiration and they do actually own the underlying commodity. Or they're a broker who is buying the underlying commodity and does want to receive the physical asset. Finding contract expiration dates and the current contract. There are 3 methods that I'm going to go over. The CME Group's website displays the current contract and volume for each product traded in the futures exchange. If you navigate to the CME Group's website, then select Markets, then the instrument you trade, it will bring you to that instrument specification page. At the top left is the current contract name. Here you see NASDAQ Futures E-mini contract is currently on the March contract, so the current contract is NQH for March 4. It also shows you the current volume traded. You can do this for each product you are interested in to find out the current contract. Now, this is a good check, but a better method paired with this is the contract expiration calendar. Being aware of the contract expiration date is very important. CME Group has made this very easy for you to do using the Calendar tab on each instrument's info page to see the contract expirations. If we navigate over to the Calendar tab, it produces a table of the current and upcoming contracts. The first column is the contract month. The next is the code you use to access the contract. And the fourth column is the settlement date or the expiration date for the contract. Now, timing rollover can be a little bit confusing even with these dates. That's where volume comes in. Analyzing trading volume is another valuable tool for identifying rollover. An increase in trading volume for the next contract, coupled with a decrease in volume for the expiring contract, indicates the initiation of rollover by market participants. This volume analysis helps traders gauge the overall market sentiment and the extent of rollover activities. A great tool for checking the volume of different contracts is a website called Bar Charts. Let's navigate there. Navigate to barcharts.com. At the top, select Futures, then Futures Market Overview. This gives a table of futures contracts and relevant information. Now click on the link that gives you the full list. This will break out all of the different subcategories, and you can narrow in on what you're looking for. So if I want to see the NQ, I'd click on the Indices tab. Here, I can see the current NQ contract, NQH24. Around rollover time, there will be 2 listed here. So you can use one of the last columns, volume, to help you determine which one is trading the most. When traders have rolled over near expiration, the volume will shift to the newer contract of the 2 listed. This quick check near rollover will help you ensure you are trading where the most volume is taking place. Trading platforms and contract rollover. Both NinjaTrader and Tradovate will provide a pop-up notice when you launch the platform notifying you that you have an instrument that needs to be rolled over. It shows you the expiring contract number, volume, and the new contract number and volume. So you can see that volume has shifted, and that's why you're receiving the notice about rollover. I've provided examples of what the notifications look like on each platform, both NinjaTrader and Tradovate. These notifications provide a really nice reminder and backup to you for tracking the rollover dates. For TradingView, unlike the other platforms, TradingView doesn't provide a reminder, so you will need to make the switch yourself. You will see a list like the image below showing you the different contracts. The first 2 are continuous contracts. The remainder are available contracts. In this instance, you will select the contract you identified through the methods I listed above, like the volume analysis and tracking the instrument's expiration calendar. In most cases, this is the first contract listed after the continuous contracts. However, at rollover, it is frequently the second contract listed that is the new contract you need to switch to. Until expiration happens, TradingView's first contract after the continuous contracts will not necessarily be the most current, but once expiration has taken place, the most current contract will be listed first there. Again, refer to the section above for details about methods to find the new contract during rollover. Module 10 has highlighted what futures contract rollover is and the importance to you as a trader for tracking and timing the transition to the new contract during contract rollover. Using the methods I've shown in this module, you should be able to find the contract expiration dates for your futures product and correctly time rollover using volume. Welcome to Module 10 of the Futures Trading course. In this module, we will discuss a unique concept of futures called contract rollover. While the concept of futures trading dates back centuries, the formal introduction of rollover mechanisms is a more recent addition. We're going to go over what it is, why it exists, when it occurs, and how it affects you as a trader. What is contract rollover? At its simplest, contract rollover is the process where traders transition their trading positions from the current futures contract to one with a later expiration date. In financial products like NASDAQ and S&P futures, NQ and ES, this happens 4 times per year in March, June, September, and December. Whereas crude oil futures, symbol CL, has a monthly rollover. Commodities products have a more frequent rollover than financials products, as there is a need for more frequent physical delivery of those products. So commodities like corn rolls over 5 times per year. Why rollover exists? While the exact timing for the creation and implementation of contract rollover is not known, the advent of electronic trading and centralized exchanges requiring more formalized and standardized processing thus created the need. To help facilitate both the need for regularly timed physical goods expirations mixed with the need for increased market integrity, futures contracts now have an expiration. Not the same as options expirations and dealing with the time decay affecting the value of your contract. This is much simpler and straightforward process, as the fixed expiration dates create a systematic transition between contracts with no decaying time penalties for the older or newer contracts. You might be thinking this seems kind of weird. What does this mean for the average trader? How does this really apply to me? For most day traders, this means rollover is the time where we simply need to make sure we shift our trades to the new current contract with the next expiration date. For instance, if a trader held a December crude oil futures contract as it approaches expiration in November, they might roll over their positions to the next available contract, such as the January contract. This avoids the requirement of physical delivery of the asset and allows the trader to continue trading the asset's price movements. Since contract rollover involves traders shifting their positions from an expiring futures contract to a new contract with a later expiration date, this means that a few times a year you need to ensure you are trading the current new contract. In the case of, say, ES and NQ futures, you will participate in rollover 4 times per year. For example, in December, when that contract expires, roughly mid-December, you will roll from the December contract to the new March contract. Now, physical delivery. The primary purpose of rollover is to avoid the necessity of physical delivery. Most futures traders are interested in price movements rather than owning the actual commodity itself or financial instrument. Rollover ensures that traders can continue their positions without dealing with the logistics and costs associated with taking delivery of the underlying asset. However, a participant who is, say, a farmer may see and treat contract rollover differently. This is a time when they are going to deliver, for example, their corn harvest because they are interested in the physical delivery aspect of contract expiration and they do actually own the underlying commodity. Or they're a broker who is buying the underlying commodity and does want to receive the physical asset. Finding contract expiration dates and the current contract. There are 3 methods that I'm going to go over. The CME Group's website displays the current contract and volume for each product traded in the futures exchange. If you navigate to the CME Group's website, then select Markets, then the instrument you trade, it will bring you to that instrument specification page. At the top left is the current contract name. Here you see NASDAQ Futures E-mini contract is currently on the March contract, so the current contract is NQH for March 4. It also shows you the current volume traded. You can do this for each product you are interested in to find out the current contract. Now, this is a good check, but a better method paired with this is the contract expiration calendar. Being aware of the contract expiration date is very important. CME Group has made this very easy for you to do using the Calendar tab on each instrument's info page to see the contract expirations. If we navigate over to the Calendar tab, it produces a table of the current and upcoming contracts. The first column is the contract month. The next is the code you use to access the contract. And the fourth column is the settlement date or the expiration date for the contract. Now, timing rollover can be a little bit confusing even with these dates. That's where volume comes in. Analyzing trading volume is another valuable tool for identifying rollover. An increase in trading volume for the next contract, coupled with a decrease in volume for the expiring contract, indicates the initiation of rollover by market participants. This volume analysis helps traders gauge the overall market sentiment and the extent of rollover activities. A great tool for checking the volume of different contracts is a website called Bar Charts. Let's navigate there. Navigate to barcharts.com. At the top, select Futures, then Futures Market Overview. This gives a table of futures contracts and relevant information. Now click on the link that gives you the full list. This will break out all of the different subcategories, and you can narrow in on what you're looking for. So if I want to see the NQ, I'd click on the Indices tab. Here, I can see the current NQ contract, NQH24. Around rollover time, there will be 2 listed here. So you can use one of the last columns, volume, to help you determine which one is trading the most. When traders have rolled over near expiration, the volume will shift to the newer contract of the 2 listed. This quick check near rollover will help you ensure you are trading where the most volume is taking place. Trading platforms and contract rollover. Both NinjaTrader and Tradovate will provide a pop-up notice when you launch the platform notifying you that you have an instrument that needs to be rolled over. It shows you the expiring contract number, volume, and the new contract number and volume. So you can see that volume has shifted, and that's why you're receiving the notice about rollover. I've provided examples of what the notifications look like on each platform, both NinjaTrader and Tradovate. These notifications provide a really nice reminder and backup to you for tracking the rollover dates. For TradingView, unlike the other platforms, TradingView doesn't provide a reminder, so you will need to make the switch yourself. You will see a list like the image below showing you the different contracts. The first 2 are continuous contracts. The remainder are available contracts. In this instance, you will select the contract you identified through the methods I listed above, like the volume analysis and tracking the instrument's expiration calendar. In most cases, this is the first contract listed after the continuous contracts. However, at rollover, it is frequently the second contract listed that is the new contract you need to switch to. Until expiration happens, TradingView's first contract after the continuous contracts will not necessarily be the most current, but once expiration has taken place, the most current contract will be listed first there. Again, refer to the section above for details about methods to find the new contract during rollover. Module 10 has highlighted what futures contract rollover is and the importance to you as a trader for tracking and timing the transition to the new contract during contract rollover. Using the methods I've shown in this module, you should be able to find the contract expiration dates for your futures product and correctly time rollover using volume. Welcome to Module 11 of the Trading Floors Futures Trading course. In this module, I'm going to show you the basics of setting up and navigating the NinjaTrader platform. I'm going to show you where to connect your account, the NinjaTrader control panel interface, setting up a chart, charting tools, the trade interface for placing a trade, the ATM strategy, which allows you to set a bracket order where you have an automatically place stop loss and take profit when you place a trade. And finally, how to put the built-in indicators on your chart. Let's get right into it. Once you have the software installed and you open it, you will see this prompt to enter in your username and password. If you have an account with NinjaTrader, then they will have provided you that login information. If you have an account with a prop firm, then use the username and password that they have provided for you to log into NinjaTrader. If you are with a prop firm, remember, you will need to have the software Rithmic. It's a separate piece of software. You will need to have that open and running when you run NinjaTrader in order for it to correctly track and place your orders. The prop firms that allow NinjaTrader are using Rithmic in order to facilitate that. So if you have your credentials, go ahead and put them in the username and the password section, and then click Login. Once you've logged in, and you should see this control panel. This is your control center where you're able to open new windows for NinjaTrader, log into your account, see open positions. It's really the consolidated center of everything in NinjaTrader. Let me show you around. So up here at the top, you're going to see connections. This is where you want to go in and configure your new connection. Depending on whatever prop firm or if you're using NinjaTrader as a broker, you're going to receive from them connection information as well as instructions on how to configure your particular connection. I'm not going to go into detail on this because it is dependent per provider. So TopStep has their own instructions, Apex has their own, and NinjaTrader has its own instructions for how you set up the account with them to make the connection. Okay, so please follow their specific instructions. It usually comes in the form of an email. It's also available at their help desk, or you can contact their support to find out how to do that. Working our way left, we have workspaces. As you have different windows open, you can organize those into different workspaces. Okay, moving our way over from there, we have tools. Underneath tools, NinjaTrader provides you a list of instruments. These are all the different instruments that NinjaTrader can potentially look at and open depending on the type of account that you're running. They also have the historical data, which I have another video all about that. That allows you to do market replay. And here you can get market replay data. You can select your instrument here, like ES or NQ as an example, and then download the individual days of data. So if I wanted to download ES, I'd say ES. And then, if I wanted to download last Friday's data, I'd say the 23rd. And then I would say download, and it downloads the data. That's the data that you need in order to do the market replay that I mentioned in my video on how to backtest. NinjaTrader has a fantastic simulation software for doing replay. Okay, so from there, they also have information about commissions. So depending on the licensing that you have and the instrument, you can come in here and see the commissions that you can expect to be charged per trade. They also have underneath here trading hours. So it gives the hours depending on the instrument that you're trading. You can come in here and you can see the hours as well as the expected holidays for that instrument. Okay, and now underneath new, you'll want to open up a chart window. So let's go into how to do that now. You go down here to chart, you're going to select your instrument. In my case, I have NQ, for example, bookmarked. So I'm going to select NQ. Then underneath here, you're going to see a bunch of information that you can kind of go through and fill out here. Let's go through this a little bit here. Type, you can do tick charts, volume, range, minute, second, day, week, month, Heikin Ashi, Renko charts. Really come in here, whichever one you're trading. This is where you're going to select the type of bar that you want to see. So if it's a bar chart or if it's a range chart, different things like that. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at minute. I'm going to set it to 1 minute. And I will show you also how to open up multiple charts so that you could see, for example, a 1 minute and a 5 minute chart in just a moment. So we're going to say 1 minute, days to load. This is going to give you that historical information. Typically, I would say just set this on a 1 minute to say 15 days back. And too much data, and it can take a while for the chart to load, but set it to whatever you think you need. End date, just leave it at whatever today's date is. I want to have the chart style be candlestick. Again, there's a lot of different options underneath here. A bar width, that's just the size of the bar within the chart. I usually default is fine. Here's where you customize how your chart is going to look. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and set this to white bars up, and we're going to set it to purple bars down. I like purple. Okay. And that generally should cover what you need to change on your chart. Again, you can spend all the time looking through the rest of these and configuring them as you deem necessary. So we're going to say okay. And then from here, you get a chart. Let me make sure I get this on screen here for you. Okay, so here you have a chart, and this chart allows you to place trades. So right here, it's just going to open up to whatever the last day and data that I had that I was looking at. So if you want to have current data and see it actually moving, let's go ahead and log into our control center here. So we go to connections. In my case, I'm just going to say simulated data feed, keep it really simple here. So it logs in. You can always log into simulated data feed, and it's going to allow you to basically live trade on a simulated account. You'll be able to fully trade anything that you need to at that point in time. Here you see it jumped because now you can see right here that the price is moving up and down. It is a live feed. Okay, this little green symbol right here says that it has a connection. Now down here you can see you have orders, executions, positions. All of those are going to show at different orders. If you placed orders, it's going to show up in orders. If you have open positions, it's going to show up in positions. Accounts gives you literally the accounts that you are connected to through this connection. In this case, it's a simulated account. And then messages and logs. Log will let you see all the different connections and any error messages that you've received. If this does not go green, you do not have a valid connection. If it stays red or stays yellow, something is typically wrong, and you need to potentially go into log to find out what's going on. I believe sometimes there are issues where if you haven't logged into Rithmic ahead of time, sometimes this will stay red or yellow because it doesn't have that connection. Again, troubleshooting with your individual prop firm or account provider is the best way to go for that. Okay, so now that we're logged in, again, you can see the price is moving up and down. This is towards the end of the day, so it's a little bit slow. We're not going to see anything crazy going on here. Okay, so in NinjaTrader, you have a lot of charting tools. It is a full piece of software that you can both trade from and you can do your charting. Up here, you have drawing tools. You have the ability to, for example, this will draw a horizontal box all the way across. This is continuous. Doesn't matter how far back you go, it will remain on the screen there. That is a little different than, say, the rectangle tool that they have here, which allows you just to draw a rectangle over a given area. That's very similar to what you would see in TradingView. They also have different line tools. So they have line and ray. Ray is going to give a spot, and then it's going to run out from that in a ray, so in a straight line. Whereas the line tool would allow you to precisely place it here, and then you can go straight out from there. If you hold the shift key, it'll draw a straight line out. If you don't hold the shift key, you can shift around wherever you need to. That would be good if you're using that as a trend line tool or marking out liquidity points, things like that. You also have Fibonacci extensions, retracements. There's horizontal line, vertical lines. You use those. I had already shown you the rectangle. You also have an ellipse. That's going to give you a circle. You can highlight around something if you need to. So as you can see, you have a bunch of different tools that you can do your typical charting with. Okay? So depending on what you're using, they also have order flow tools, though those can be tied to particular licenses within NinjaTrader. So I'm not exactly certain which prop firms would provide that. You have trend channel tools and regression channel tools as well. Trend channel tool, draw a line out, another line. It provides the exact same size line, and regression channel is going to draw something like that. So a lot of different tools available for your charting. If you want to open up, for example, I have a 1 minute chart here. If you want to open up a 5 minute chart, you would come in here, you would select the same tool or the same instrument, and then you would change this, for example, to 5, and that would give you a 5 minute chart as well. Okay? So this is 5 minute chart of NQ, and it forms a tab system like this. If you want to break it out into a new window, you can right click on this. You can duplicate the tab, and then you can quick change the minutes, seconds, range, tick, volume, right up here, as well as if you right click, you can say move to a new window and it will pop that particular tab out into a new window for you. Okay. Now, probably what you're particularly concerned about is how do I place trades? Okay, so that is the chart trader. If you open up chart trader, it's currently set to off. We can say that, and then you can see here, when this is blue, it lets you know that you're in a simulated account. Basically, you are not in a live account like connected to your prop firm or your brokerage. It'll usually be gray-black color when you are. So right here, you can see that it's set to instrument of NQ. If you have different instruments and your tabs down here, you can potentially have that from the drop down there. In this case, I only have NQ. The account is simulation. If you have multiple accounts, let's say that you're connected to 5 different Apex accounts, for example, then you would be able to, from that drop down, be able to select them. It will be whatever accounts in that dropdown will be whatever is in your control panel when you're connected up and it lists all of your accounts out there. Those will be what you have from the dropdown. Order quantity. The order quantity here is how many contracts you want to trade. So if you want to trade 3 contracts, then you would simply increase this to 3. And then if you want to place an order, you have your buy and your sell buttons here. At market means that it's going to enter at whatever price you're currently in at the market. And then you have, of course, bid and ask, both buy and sell. Okay. Reverse means that it will reverse the current position. Close, it will close everything that's open at the time. P&L, this will show you the open P&L that you have. If you are in a position and it is positive, it'll show a positive P&L here. If you are negative on the position, it will show a negative P&L here. Okay. So let's go ahead and put a buy market order in.
Order filled.
Okay. You can see there that it placed, because I had set it to 3, it placed an order for 3 contracts here. And I don't have a stop loss or a take profit set. You can, however, right click on here and you can say
order
sell
submitted
limit. And that would, for example, if price were to move up and hit here, it would then sell all 3 contracts. You can change the number of contracts that it will sell. I can change it down to 1, for example, and then it would just sell 1 there. Okay, so that's limit orders. You can place a stop order by saying here, and you can place a sell stop.
Order submitted.
Market, that would be your stop order there, for example. And that's how you could go about manually placing these. However, NinjaTrader does have this ATM strategy, which allows you to create strategy systems. So basically the same as what is in Tradabase, if you've ever experienced that, or the position tool in TradingView. This allows you to set your stop loss and your take profit, as well as how you want the position to trail. That is also a feature that is in NinjaTrader. So that's where you can set that up, and I will go into that now. You can see here that I closed out the position and it just shows you the markers on your chart where you opened and closed it, as well as the prices. So going in here to ATM strategy, you're going to see a drop down here says none and custom. And none just meaning don't use anything, which is what we had it set to before, where it just placed the order, but you didn't have a stop loss or a take profit. Now we're going to select custom. Okay, in here, order quantity. Again, this is the number of contracts that you want to trade with. I'm going to show you a couple different things. First, we're going to start with 1 contract. Here, target 1 contract. Do you want to see it in amount of money, a percent, a price, ticks, or pips? I'm going to go with ticks for now. If I want a 10-point stop loss, there are 4 ticks in NQ per point. So 10-point stop loss times 4 ticks tells me that I need a 40-tick stop loss. If I want a 1-to-1, that would be 40. So this right now would place me in at a 10-point stop loss and a 10-point take profit. I can say save as template, and here I'm going to name it 10 points. So we'll save it. We'll say okay. Now you can see it here. It says 10 points. That, if you have it selected, will set order quantity 1, and you'll be able to, for example, if I want to buy
order
here,
filled,
buy right here, and then it places my stop loss and my take profit. In that case, it uses a sell stop because I bought, and if it comes down, I want it to sell. And in this instance, if it comes up here, it's using a sell limit because I want it to sell the trade when it gets above, and because it's above price, it's using a limit order, and below price here, it's using a stop order. Now we're going to go ahead and close
order
that out,
filled,
and we're going to put in another one. We're going to say custom. Now, let's say that we want to use 2 contracts and we want one of them to be at a 1-to-1 and one to be at a 1-to-2, for example. Again, in ticks, that same 40 ticks, which is going to be seeing 10 points. And in this instance, I want to say add because I want to tell it only 1 contract at a 1-to-1. And I want my other contract to be at the same stop loss of 10 points, but I want it to be at 80 ticks, which would give me a 1-to-2. So it will place it in with a target 1 contract at a 1-to-1, 1 contract at a 1-to-2. So this can be a really great way to be able to split your order out and take a partial profit, for example, at a 1-to-1 and the rest of the trade at a 1-to-2. So we will save that as 2 contracts and then 10 points. We say, okay, now we see 2 contracts, 10 points. If I place a buy
Order
right here,
filled.
you can see that, again, I have that same 10-point stop loss. And because I placed it with 2 contracts, you'll see a little number 2 right here. And you'll see the first take profit here at the 10 points. And it placed another one here at 20 points at a 1-to-2. Okay?
Order filled.
So we're going to close that out. Now that shows you exactly how to go ahead and set up your automatic take profits and stop losses so that anytime you go to place an order, you can come right down here and you can select exactly which of your ATMs that you want to use. And once you have that selected, you can confidently place your trade and know that a stop loss and a take profit will be placed with that if those are set up within that strategy. Okay, now another thing that I want to point out to you is because you do have these tabs, they are operated independently in the sense that you have your trade window open here. If I switch over to this other tab right here, you will see that the trading little window is not there. Again, you just come right up here, you select Chart Trader, and now you can see it and you can place trades from this particular tab. So don't worry, if it's not there, just go up to the Chart Trader window here and enable it. Okay. Now let's say that you want to change the time frame of this chart. Again, you can do that up here, but if you wanted to change the coloring or something else about it, or you wanted to get more or less data, you can easily come up here and click the Data Series button. Now, you might be wondering, does NinjaTrader have indicators? Let's go into indicators real quick. So we come and we open up indicators. NinjaTrader has the typical indicators that you would expect to see, things that are default and trading view. You can typically find here in NinjaTrader. For example, if you were to trade with Bollinger Bands, you would add these to your chart. Say apply, say okay. Now you have Bollinger Bands on your chart. A lot of people like to use an RSI. Let's go find an RSI. So we scroll down here. Again, a lot of indicators on here, and you'll see RSI right here. So now we can say add to chart, and right here you can see configured. This allows you to jump back and forth if you want to change the settings of your Bollinger Bands, if you want to change the settings of your RSI. Each one is right here in the list. Anything that is on your chart, when you come into indicators, will be listed right here. You can move them up, down, and you can remove them as well. And right in here, you're able to change the parameters as well as the coloring. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and apply and add that to the chart. And right down here in this panel, we have the RSI. Typical of what you would see, you have the 70 for the overbought, and you have the 30 down here for your oversold, or whatever parameters that you set for it. As you can see here, you can easily add and remove indicators. Let's say that I no longer want these on here. I would remove it, click apply, and that's no longer on here. A lot of people use an EMA. Don't worry, the EMA is on here. So we just scroll down, we see EMA, we say add to our chart. Let's say that we want to have a 200 period EMA on the chart. It's going to show up in gold. Actually, let's say I wanted to put it into red. I'm going to select crimson. I'm going to say apply. Perfect. There is a 200 period moving average. Now let's say that I want to see that on a 15-minute chart. I come here, I select 15 minutes. There we go. Now you can see that I have the EMA and the RSI on my chart, and I can quickly flip back and forth between different time frames. And to wrap it up, another common question that I get is, how do I place limit orders on this chart? On this charting system, as I did kind of mention before, you are able to right-click and you're able to say sell or buy in various limits or stop orders depending on where you are around price. So for example, if I want to place a buy limit,
Order submitted.
Buy limit right here, and that would allow me to drag it around and set it wherever I want to. That is how you can set a limit order on the NinjaTrader chart, and you can close it out by hitting this X button, or you can hit
Order
the close
canceled,
button, and it will remove any and all. So if you want to just remove that one, you would hit the X button. If you want to remove all of the orders on your chart, you hit the close button. I hope this brief tutorial on how to use NinjaTrader has been very helpful to you. Please do check out the futures trading course if you have not gone through it yet. It does have a lot of good information in there. I am Roxy. Thank you for joining me. And should you have additional questions, please do reach out to me and I'm happy to answer them. Welcome to Module 12 of the Trading Floors Futures Trading course. In this module, I'm going to show you the basics of setting up and navigating the Tradovate platform. I'm going to show you where to log in, the interface, adding a chart, charting tools, adding and removing indicators, the trade interface, and the ATM strategy, which allows you to set a bracket order where you have an automatically placed stop loss and take profit when you place the trade. Let's get into it. Where you will frequently need to go to access your Tradovate interface. If you're using, for example, Apex or TopStep or something like that for those different prop firms, you access it at trader.tradovate.com/welcome. That's the same for the accounts that I've needed to access, both for TopStep, Apex, ETF, all of those different prop firms. You access it through trader.tradovate.com/welcome. And here you're going to enter in your username and password, and then you're going to hit login. Let's go ahead and do that now, and I'll show you the interface. Just to clear up if anybody notices, I am at a different interface address. That's because I'm running this directly through NinjaTrader for a simulated demo account in order to show you this, as opposed to through a prop firm account. But what you see should be very, very similar to this, if not exactly the same. When you open up and log in the first time, you will likely be greeted with a message saying that you need to sign a document to allow the connection, which will activate your data feed, that type of thing. Reference what your prop firm says in order to be able to log in. They will provide you with your credentials, and they will provide you with the steps to complete the authentication process. Please do follow the guide that they send you. Usually it comes in the email along with your credentials. It's very important that you follow that in order to complete the steps, because you need to be able to log in correctly, and each one has a little bit of a different process in what they require. So please do follow their guide. So once you're logged in and you're at this interface, you're going to see this. It'll either be on the right or on the left, depending on how yours is laid out. And this shows you exactly where price is. That's highlighted effectively in yellow here, as well as it's going to allow you to buy and sell. However, I don't typically use this interface because you have these buy and sell buttons right here. This ends up just taking up real estate on my screen, so I typically close it, which I'm going to do now. But I wanted to show you that when you do open it up, you will see this either on the right or left of your chart. So closing it now. So what they present you with is a few different charts that are open to, in this case, it's got an ES and an NQ. And I mean, this is the Euro USD. It opens up a bunch of different things, basically as examples. It's got some type of default template that it uses, as well as it'll have a bunch of different indicators on the chart. But more than likely, this isn't the configuration that you want to use. So let's go ahead and clean this up real quick. And we're going to take it down to ES and NQ. And as you can see, you can do a split screen here that does allow you to do that, or you can have it just down to one screen if that's what you want to see. And they have this tabulation at the top that allows you to open up more than one market, different time frames, that type of thing. So you can mix and match how you want to do it. If you want split screen like this to see, for example, ES and NQ at the same time, then you could set it up that way, or two different time frames. Let's go ahead and open up a new instrument up here. We want to look at NQ. It's going to give you the current contract. We want NQ. That's fine. We're going to say select, and great, perfect. Now it's opened up a new chart for us, and it's on the 5 minute. Now I'm going to show you here. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. This is the interval. That means the time that it is set to. So if you want it on the 1 minute, you would change it to 1 minute, and it's going to give you a 1 minute chart. It's showing you the last price, the bid, the ask. If you have an open position, this is where your P&L is shown. Up, down, whatever it's doing, it's going to be showing you the current P&L that you have of an open position. And then you have these buy and sell buttons, as well as the bid and the ask. And this right here is the number of contracts. So you can select, for example, if you want to trade with 2 contracts, you would say, I want to trade 2 contracts, and right now I'm going to sell. So you hit sell. Do not show this again so that it just gets you in right away. I highly recommend you say do not show. Otherwise, you have a 2-step process in order to place your
order
trade.
filled.
So there it has placed the trade. It placed in at 2 contracts, and it shows you the price that it placed it at. It puts this little marker on the chart. That's really that simple for buying and selling. If you want to close the trade, you can say close here. They also have the ability to reverse. You can cancel all orders as well. So
order filled.
You want to say close, and it has closed out the trade, and you can see the little marker here. So we sold and then we bought as well. Really that simple for replacing an order. You also have the ability to configure your chart. So we want to configure the chart. For example, right now it shows you that you have on here the Bollinger Bands, an SMA, and an RSI. The RSI being at the bottom here, the SMA being the blue line. So you can see the color here, blue. So let's say that I don't want the Bollinger Bands on the chart. I'm going to hit the trash can button to remove it. And if we go go ahead and minimize that. You can now see that the Bollinger Bands are gone. And here you can see the green line is the highest price and the red line down here is the lowest price of the day that is set to. On the right-hand side here, it's defaulting that it is showing volume. If that's helpful to you, you can leave that on. Otherwise, you can remove that as well. Let's say that you want to add another indicator. Let's say I want to add a moving average, an EMA, and I want to place the 200 EMA on my chart. I want it to be in, let's say, red. And I really want to show up, so we're going to make it nice and thick. Again, like any other interface, you can configure out your indicators. The Tradovate interface has all of the typical default indicators that you would expect to see. And so it's pretty simple to add and configure up your chart. You can see here that we've added a 200 EMA to the chart, as well as the indicators that were already on there, which is that SMA and the RSI. Pretty simple to add and remove indicators from your chart and configure it how you want to. You can see here you can add it as a candlestick, or they have others like Heikin Ashi and Renko. So if you like to use Heikin Ashi charts, then you can change your candlestick pattern to Heikin Ashi, or you can change it back to candlestick. That is how you do that. They also have drawing tools. So the typical line that would give you a line that you can draw out, for example, from here to here. Holding shift gives you a straight line. If you want a horizontal line, it is going to draw out a horizontal line wherever you place it. You can also use their trend channel, regression channel, and essentially just basic shapes. So that's a polygonic shape here. So it's going to allow you to draw it however you want out there. So it has different charting tools, mostly just the line-based tools here in Tradovate. And it's pretty simple. That's how you configure up your chart. You saw how I added in the ability to add in like NQ. If we want to do ES, you can also change up what this is by clicking up here. Let's say I want to change it to a 5-minute NQ, that particular tab. You can see there that I was able to change it from ES to NQ. Adding new charts is as simple as new tab here. If you don't want this panel over here, you can click this button right here and it will close it out. It's a pretty simple interface in order to be able to place trades. The last thing that I want to cover is bracket orders. ATM, just like in NinjaTrader, Tradovate has the ability to create bracket orders. And what bracket orders do is when you place a trade, it's going to automatically place a stop loss and a take profit in there if you have it configured and the ATM selected. Let's go ahead and create one of those now. For ATMs, we want to say that we want this turned on. The ATM, we're going to call it 10 points. You can do this in ticks, delta price, or value. We're going to leave it in ticks. I do want it to place a take profit and a stop loss. This being in ticks, I know that it is 4 ticks to a point in the NQ. So if I want a 10-point stop loss and a 10-point take profit, that's going to be 4 times 10, giving me 40. So I want a 1-to-1. That's going to be a take profit of 40 and a stop loss of 40. The stop loss type is going to be stop. Some of these are a little glitchy, so, play with them and see how that works with your particular prop firm or broker that you have connected in here. Say, okay, you can see I have an ATM set for 10 points. So what that means is, for example, if I were to buy right now,
order filled,
you can see that it went ahead and placed the take profit and stop loss for me. And those are these little red lines right here. You can see where it's expecting that's 10 points top to bottom of where it placed the order currently. And I can drag and drop these around and it will update the order for me. So that, for example, I want my take profit to be up here at 18,046.75, I easily can drag the price up there and it updates the order for me. If you close one of these out, it's not going to cancel your position. It just closes that particular order. It treats these independently, if that makes sense. So just like in NinjaTrader, you can click. In this case, you don't need to right click. You left click on the chart and you can easily add an order there. In this case, because I had removed my sell stop, I would want to add a sell stop back in. It's going to place that here. Now, because I'm already into an order, I don't need it to place any type of ATM around it, so I can cancel those out. But for example, if I wanted to add to my position, I could place a buy order in here, and you can see that if it were to be activated, it's going to place that same ATM around it. So it's going to place the order here and here, which would be my stop loss and my take profit in that case. Pretty simple to use. In this interface, you are able to add in quickly if you want to buy or sell. If you have your ATM selected, that's going to very quickly add in your stop loss in your take profit, so you don't have to worry about those. And then, like I said, you can quickly drag and drop them around. This interface should be pretty similar to what you're seeing on others like TradingView or NinjaTrader, where you're able to add in the typical default indicators. It doesn't have TTF's indicators. For those, you would want to just have TradingView open on another screen or in another tab, and this would be the interface where you could place your orders for those using a prop firm or if you're using Tradevate as your broker for a personal account. This is where it shows you your position. So I currently have open a position, and this is showing you that I have one. It was entered in at this price. It is currently down $25 on that contract, and you can see unrealized P&L because we had placed an order before. It adds the current $45 to that order. Right here, total P&L. It's also calculating in, typically it will calculate in your commissions as well here. And if you are doing a prop firm, this is where you'll be able to see your trailing max drawdown or any type of loss limits that you have in place. That was a really quick guide for you guys on how to navigate around the Tradevate interface, being able to place orders and configure it with the indicators that you want to use. If you have questions, you can reach out to me. I'm Roxy, and I hope this guide was helpful for you. Have a great day.